Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastuma Shanti Shanti Shanti. We experience happiness in deep sleep state. That's good. Then why do we come out of it? If you are happy in deep sleep, why do we come out of it? Is it our... which caused this? What is it? Vasana. Oh. It is karma that decides. When the karma, our prarabdha karma, responsible for waking state, when they become fructified, waking, then waking karma get over and then dream karma become prominent, become dream, we start experiencing dream. When the dream karma is exhausted and the deep sleep karma has come, meaning that it is every experience is a result of our past karma. So the waking also is a result of the past karma, so is dream, so is deep sleep. When that karma is over, come out of deep sleep. So we think that the alarm that wakes up, but it's karma that wakes up. No, Swami, but it's my karma that made me set that alarm that way, So karma decides everything. This is the explanation of all our experiences. So we go from deep sleep to dream to deep sleep, doesn't matter whatever that karma can be. It is our vasanas which cause this karma, as I explained. It is our past karmas that cause given experience. Why does Lord Krishna say in the Gita that I am in all the bhutas and they are not in me? Now, if you go back to a rope snake example, that rope says the snake is because of me, but I am not because of snake. In rope snake example, rope enjoys independent existence. Snake has a dependent existence. Snake is because the rope is. Rope is because the rope is. Whether snake is there or not, rope is. Something like that, the relationship will exist between Lord, Bhagavan says, Lord Krishna says, that they are all in me and I am not in them. Mahi te te shuna chapyaham. All they are in me, meaning that maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyakta murti matsthani sarvabhutani nachaham teshu avasthitah. Meaning that they are dependent upon me and I am not dependent upon them. I enjoy an independent existence. The bhutas of the world enjoys a dependent existence. So it is I who provide them satta, sphurti, the existence, intelligence, that is why the world is. But I am of the nature of existence, nature of intelligence. For existence or intelligence, I am not dependent upon anything. The world is dependent upon me, that I provide the world the intelligence, existence. In that sense, Lord Krishna says, Mastani sarvabhutani nachaham teshu. They are all in me, I am not in them. No, I don't. What is this question? Brahma is Karan, but all bhutas and Brahma is omnipresent. So if Brahma is Karan, bhutas are also. What this is not clear to me, this question. Second part of the question. It says Brahma is Karan. Karan means Karan. Oh, sorry. Karan, the cause for all. Bhutas and Brahma is omnipresent, so if Brahma is Karan, Bhutas are originated from Brahman, so how Bhutas are not in Brahman? How? All it means is that Lord Krishna says that I enjoy the Paramadika Satta, absolute reality. The world enjoys the Vyavaharik Satta, relative reality. So the world depends upon me for it being there, whereas I do not depend upon the world. So Karanam, even if Bhagavan is Karanam, then also the clay can say that the pot is because of me, but I am not because of pot. In the clay pot example also, clay is the Karanam, or the cause. The clay says that the pot is because of me, I am not because of pot, because clay enjoys independent existence, whereas pot enjoys a dependent existence. Pot cannot be unless clay is, but clay is whether pot is there or not. Similarly, the relationship between the Lord and the bhutas or Jagat. So, cause and effect relationship. Please elaborate on Pratibimbavada and Avachedavada and the differences. It's like the question or examination, Please explain in detail. So we already discussed that in the class. The sun getting reflected in a reflecting medium is called Pratibimba. To explain our experiences. Using that example, Vada means just an example or a model. So Pratibimbavada means a model of reflection. And it has some advantages because mainly the nature of reflection is determined by the reflecting medium. The sun may be one, but if the reflecting media are many, the sun will appear many. Sun is bright, but if the water is dirty, then it will become dull. Sun is stationary, water is wavy, the reflection appears wavy. Meaning that the nature of reflection is determined by the reflecting medium. And so also the reflection medium, model. That we are like reflection of Brahman. Brahman is limitless, one, non-dual. We are many because reflecting media. Every mind is like reflecting medium where Brahman gets reflected and therefore the reflected consciousness is called Jiva. As many reflecting medium are there, like mind, so many Jivas are there. Also, how the reflection looks like is determined by the medium, reflecting medium. Mind is small and Jiva is small, mind is restless, I am restless. So to explain our experiences, how come in reality I am Brahman and still why do I feel limited? How come I feel one among many, one among countless when there is only one reality? How come I feel limited, I feel restless, I feel unhappy? That is because the reflecting medium influences the reflection. So even though I may be a reflection of Brahman and therefore perfect, but my mind, which is a reflecting medium, makes me appear as many, as restless, as happy, unhappy. So in that way, the reflection model helps us understand our experiences. Why? In spite of my being limitless, why do I feel limited? Because the mind, the reflecting medium is limited. So it creates appearance of limitedness. Brahman is one, why do I feel I am one among many? Because the mind is many. So thus this model of reflection helps us understand our experiences as to why, in spite of my being one, non-dual, limitless, why do I feel one among many and limited? So how the reflection is like one among many, limited. So reflection model called Pratibimbavada explains our experiences. But sometimes there is a problem, some people they raise an objection. But a reflection model, the sun that is reflected is out there, the reflecting medium is different, so there's duality. But Brahman and Jiva are one, there is no duality. So, the model doesn't have to be explainable in every aspect, one aspect only. So, if you insist upon that, then there is Avachedavada, where the space is conditioned by spot. So, the consciousness conditioned by the mind. Consciousness reflected in mind or consciousness conditioned by the mind. Let's go avacheda. Each example explains the sense of limitedness. Except that when we say that the space is conditioned by part, there is no distance between space and part. So consciousness conditioned by the mind, there is no distance. That way, that's a better example, but the reflection model has other advantages also. So we can use one of them or both of them as suited. After all, they are only examples. Sometimes my parents, mothers, brothers, sisters, karma bothers me. How to get rid of that experience? Can't get rid of it. Because being bothered is your nature, so it will bother you. All you can do is to be compassionate to them. I presume from what this person writes, that maybe parent and mother and brother and sisters are not behaving themselves. They are doing something that is objectionable from the standpoint of this person. So then it affects me, Swamiji. It's understandable. So the way to deal with that is to be compassionate to the parent and mother and brother and whoever it is, that they are what they are out of helplessness. See, nobody wants to do anything evil or anything bad deliberately. Everybody is good by nature. And given the freedom, we will always do good. Given the freedom, we will always speak truth. Given the freedom, we will always be honest. Given the freedom. But then, Swami, why do you tell a lie sometimes? Because of compulsion. Speaking truth means I have to lose something. And what I lose is more valuable than truth. So less valuable thing is sacrifice. It is to me, maybe money is more important than truth, so the truth is sacrifice. If a time comes when truth is more valuable than anything else, then I will hold on to truth like Harishchandra. Until then, all these worldly things which have so many attractions, all acquired values, they very often win the battle, and therefore I find myself compromising the values. So that's what must be happening with parents and mother and brother and sister and X, Y, Z. So conflict must be, because understand that they will not do this willingly. Anybody who compromises value does it helplessly. No, Swami, it is a pre-planned thing. It is maybe pre-planned. There is no helplessness. They planned it. Even then, what prompted that person to plan? Also helplessness. Because given the choice, a human being will always want to be truthful and honest and good and kind. That's our nature. So when we are not kind, we are not truthful, we are acting against our nature, and that is stressful to us also. When we thus violate a value, first stress is created in the one who violates. And then it may affect the other person who becomes the object of my action. But basically every human being is an honest, good person. Every creature, why human being? But we are concerned about the human beings. Other people are honest is very clear. All other creatures are honest. There is no cheating, no facade, not something else inside and something else outside. Buffalo is a buffalo inside and outside. There is no shame. We are free from a sense of shame. We have a lot of shame in ourselves. Therefore, I do not come out clean. There is a facade. I want the world to see me as I want them to see. And therefore, I always have a facade and appear as acceptable to you. Because your acceptance is very important to me, because I don't accept myself. That's the problem. Because we do not accept ourselves, therefore acceptance of others becomes very important. As we grow and slowly learn and develop acceptance in ourselves, that dependence will go. When you become a jnani and totally accept yourself, totally independent. Until then, there is a degree of dependence. And so, what can we do about mother and father and brother and sister? They are all poor like that. All suffering from inner sense of limitedness, dependence, helplessness. That's what makes them, in your opinion, that's what makes them what they are. Inherently, nobody is like that. Helplessly, they are like that. Meaning that we should be sympathetic even to people who are violating values. We condemn them, which we may, but nobody violates any value willingly. Person violates value helplessly. If we see this fact, then we can have some sympathy for that person and not hatred for the person. Now, that doesn't mean that you condone what they do, that's not the point. But at least in our mind, we will not have hatred. Because the person is bad, not by choice, helplessly so. So if the parent, mother, brother, sister, these, that, if the karma bothers you, recognize that they are doing this not willingly, but somebody makes them do. Arjuna asks this question, asakena prayuktayam, what is it prompts a person to go against his values? Kamesha, krodesha, it is anger, greed, lust. That's what more, that is what forces the person to go against his own value.
Based on the question, the answer that you're giving, then don't you feel bad that they gave priority to somebody else and not you?
In what sense?
If they're listening to somebody and helplessly doing something for somebody else and doing in their favor and not in your favor, then isn't that more of a problem than trying to become that?
So her question is that if people listen to other Swamis and not me, if they donate to other Swamis and not to me, other Swamis and not to me, does it not become my problem? If it becomes my problem, it is my problem.
Swami, what I'm saying is, you said mother, father, they are helpless and that is why they are trying to do what they're doing, right? So my question is, they are helpless, say, because they are under the care of your brother, and that is why they helplessly favor the brother and not you, let's say. Then isn't that a problem that for some reason they are favoring your brother and not you? And you may want to be compassionate, but that's more of a feeling of being denied of love.
Well, that is our prarabdha, Everybody's got a prarabdha. So our prarabdha makes them do what they do. So if you see that, they are already in that place. So we won't feel hurt. If somebody deliberately does something to me, then there is reason to get hurt. If they're helpless, if a dog barks, what can you do? No choice. So you can't feel hurt because of the way the dog does. So people are, what they do is because that's what they are and they have no choice. So yes, I appreciate that you are missing the love of your mother, father, brother. And then mother loves the brother more than she loves you. No, it's hurtful. But then that hurt comes from expectation ultimately. And therefore, we must understand it's not the mother that is making me unhappy. My expectation of the mother is what makes me unhappy. So give her the freedom. She loves my brother more, God bless her. And God bless my brother also. But I know it's easier said than done. Because we are dependent upon others for their love, because to make us feel good. We need that. And more we need, more hurt we feel. So, either we have to slowly grow and become independent, not reject them, but grow. And you love them as much as you can, even from a distance. Wish them well. Bless them. Women are made to sit out during their monthly, not allowed to enter the puja room or attend the religious gatherings. They continue to do that in their later years too. Now, in later years, they are, I guess, free from that problem. So then why should anybody exclude them now? The big problem with our, Sabrimala, that hill of Lord Ayyappa, a lot of big controversy was there about Sabrimala. Mala means hill. And so women are not allowed. But women after 50 can go there. But women, when they are in their, period, they are not allowed. So that's a matter of belief and whatever otherwise is, maybe enough research is not done on all these things to understand why certain rules and regulations are there. Are these rules made only to give to be unfair to women? Or is there some religious reason? what are the state of mind, what is the various things, energy associated with that, and what that energy will do to a place of worship, whether it will pollute that or not. I mean, it is something that requires research and understanding. We give them the benefit of doubt that our scriptural masters, when they made the rules, they may have this, not to discriminate against women. To maintain the sanctity of a place, you keep those elements away which in your opinion pollute. That's how all these untouchables, these are not allowed. There is right, wrong or indifferent, I'm not commenting on, but this is how these customs have arisen. This is how, so a woman is supposed to be impure during that time. And therefore she is excluded from religious ceremonies because she may create a negative effect upon the environment, and therefore this is what I think must be the... You have something to say?
No, I don't.
No. Jyotika, no? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Let us... so I know this comes from where? So, what do you tell such women? I don't know, You know something now... to tell you a very big secret, you are talking about religious function and stuff like that. What about listening to Vedas? Listen to Upanishad. So, all our brahmacharis, everybody listens to all the classes. Who know? I don't know. Whether or not they are following this, we see them around the year. There are some who stay away and then they feel embarrassed, of course, by doing that, but still there are few who stay away during that time because they think they should not. That's how they're raised in their home. But other people attend the classes and our Swamijis have not kept them away. They have not made any rule that ladies, I do not know if they are told inside, etc., I do not know. But I haven't seen, it's not my observation that some ladies have remained away during a given, I don't know what your observation is, but meaning that our Swamis do not seem to have made this an issue. And so, whether that makes it right, wrong or indifferent, I do not know, but this is how it is. So that started from Bada Swamiji. And I think he did not make it an issue. And so I don't think our Swamiji is more traditional and little more orthodox than that Swami. So if anything, he could have made it an issue, but it's not made an issue. So that is not an issue in Chinmaya Mission or Arsha Vidya Gurukulam. Elsewhere it may be, or I don't know what it is in the Ramakrishna Mission, etc., but then they have separate things there. Any question on this?
Swamiji, so what do you say? Do you say it's okay to attend or you don't say anything? If they particularly come and ask you, should I come? Or they say they don't want to come, then you just say okay?
I would say okay. If they don't want to come, that's okay.
It's not...
There's microphone.
Excuse me. That's my own personal opinion. Some women do choose not to attend, even in somebody's home and if puja is going on. They themselves choose because they've been raised that way and it's ingrained in their head. So it's not it's not the fault of the whole society or culture or anything. So it goes both ways. And in ancient time, it could have been for the reason of hygiene.
And the reason of hygiene or reason of purity, meaning that if that time period a woman is considered impure, let us say, then she is kept away, just as the people of the lower caste also are not allowed because they are not clean, they don't take bath regularly and therefore they don't have that shuchi. So it is from the point of shuchi or cleanliness and purity, both, two kinds of shuchi. But then this is such a debatable thing that if I say something they will hang me, because they all went on the court and Supreme Court and everything else, and women insist, we want to go to Shani temple, this temple. Nobody ever want. No, I don't know whether to go or not, but 3 women wanted to go. So here and there and so on. And so court also had no choice. But constitutionally, the human rights, from the standpoint of human right, you can't discriminate a human being because of this and that. So I think from that standpoint, everybody is allowed everywhere. So ultimately for the Sabarimala, now that was a very strict place and for centuries together. But some women took up the case and those 3 women went. I don't know if other women have followed or not. Many women said, no, we will not follow it because that's a tradition. But those 3 went and then others went, going, I don't know. There's no... Our newspapers never report, there's only sensational they report, otherwise they don't follow up anything, so I don't know. In deep sleep experience, there is no mind and there is only ignorance. You say that deep sleep is an example for moksha. There is no mind. Hence in Jivan Mukta, meaning the one who is liberated, we do have mind, how do we experience moksha? It is not, moksha is not something to experience, it is something to be. That I do not experience, I become liberated, free, because it's my nature. And so, presence of mind does not in any way affect I am what I am. So a wise person continues to function with the mind. Mind's presence or absence in no way contribute to, it's not the presence of mind that makes me bound. It is identification of the mind that makes me bound. So mind doesn't have to go, the identification has to go. Body doesn't have to go, the identification has to go. It is such a good, comforting and strengthening feeling in temples, puja rooms, and while doing worship of my KSID. Ishvara, me. It is thousands of miles away. So can somebody explain that question?
Yeah, it's sort of duality. Here is a big Ishvara and I'm here.
One
small.
second, he's bringing the microphone, yeah.
Is it on? Yeah. I feel comfortable in a temple or puja rooms, seeing the big Ishvara, getting the strength and comfort and blessings. And the thought of this Advaita, me as an Ishvara, it seems like thousands and thousands of miles away, then the concept doesn't sink in.
But you do not like the concept, or you have difficulty understanding the concept?
Difficult to sinking it. I mean, words understanding is fine, but absorbing and sinking is the difficulty.
So what is your concept of Ishvara?
Superpower, super protector, everything giver, like a father and mother and therapist and doctor and everything. But here, how can I, Atman, be that? There's no way I can be that.
True.
Far away from that.
No, that's understandable. That's a big question.
That's all it is.
So, but anyway, now keep the microphone in your hand. Even all that, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent Ishvara is like ocean.
Yeah.
And you are like the waves, little ones. So how can this wave be ocean?
That's the thing.
That is true.
Let it go in.
You are right. As long as you have abhimanam or ego that I am a wave, you hold on to that notion that I am a wave so long that oceans will be farther than farthest. But here this requires me to let go my insistence that I am a wave. I am told that, hey, wave is only something that is incidental. What is essential about you is water. Change my identification from the incidental name and form to water, there will be no difficulty. Because size of Ishvara is ocean, but that is, essence is water. Size of Jiva is small little wave, but essence is water. From the stand of essence, the Jiva and Ishvara, but not in a size. In size, the wave is little and ocean is vast. In essence, wave also is water and ocean also is water. So wave that is you has to give up that insistence that I am just a wave and small, little one. That yes, I am small from one standpoint, the stand of body, mind I am small. But consciousness that I am, there is no smallness there. Ishvara is big. Because his powers are big, yes, but the essence of Ishvara is also the same consciousness. Wave is water in that small little form. Ocean also is water in that vast form, but both are water. And so, we want to hold on to our smallness. I think that if I give up my smallness, then, Ishvara, I am threatened or something happens to me. But that is all right, if you find it so. Otherwise, the whole idea is that the wave is told that, yes, one aspect if is small, insignificant. That's the name and form, the dimension. Other aspect is that you are water. Ocean is vast. Other aspect is that is also water. So if I give up measuring me by this body-mind complex which is little, and start measuring myself, the consciousness that I am, then my complexes will change. Right now, I have this complex, I am so small, insignificant, how can I be Ishvara? But not Ishvara at the level of the dimension, Ishvara level of essence. One drop of water, in essence, same as ocean, not in dimension. When I am sleeping, I am avoiding my duties and responsibilities. I have heard that some sages and gurus only sleep a couple of hours a night, yet enjoy the same performance in their mind and body during waking hours. How can I attain this ability? It is that those sages or saints they don't measure themselves by mind and body. So that is the reason why basically we feel tired and exhausted not only by the physical exertion, but the conflicts and stresses taking place in the mind. Very often that is what creates more fatigue than the amount of work. So only difference between ours and sages is that they don't have that conflict. Here conflict is with myself because I am not happy with myself. And then all other conflicts arise. So that's the wise person is Atmaneva Atmana Tushta. Totally content with himself, by himself. There's no conflict. Total self-acceptance and therefore acceptance of everything. Total self-comfort, therefore comfort is everything. When you are comfortable, then you don't get tired or exhausted. Physically you may, but people more get tired mentally, Physically also, but then we get exhausted mentally also because of the conflicts and stresses, which these sages and gurus don't have, That's the difference. And so you can attain that by bringing the teaching of Vedanta into the life as much as we can. The understanding that we get from study, our approach should be, what does it mean to me? Swami said all of this about the waves and then ocean and this and that and so forth. What does it mean to me? How does it help me live my life? So this is what each one has to do. Because when the teacher explains in the class, he gives a general explanation applicable to everybody. The 10th story. Now what does it mean to me? So this teaching that the teacher is providing us, we have to understand that in reference to our own self, as to what it means to me, and that is when it will become helpful to me. Otherwise it remains a theory. We understand all right, but then unless understood in our own context, oh yes, we should not have raga, dvesha, but this thought in my mind is called raga, that thought is called dvesha. If I don't understand that, I don't know what to get rid of. I understand raga, dvesha, I must get rid of, but then I should recognize that a given thought in my mind is called raga, other thought is called dvesha. So when I understand it in my own context, then I am clear as to what I am supposed to do and how this teaching help me to grow. I'm sure everybody does it, but this is the idea. That we have to translate this teaching in our own case. What does it mean to me? How do I know my duty? In daily life, one may have many things that others expect, they are expected to do. By friends, by family, by bosses, etc. How do I know which duties are the ones I am truly supposed to follow? So what is my duty is determined by the circumstances in which I am. If I am in place of work, then what my boss desires becomes my duty. I am at home, then what the circumstances of home require becomes my duty. So duty is something that is dynamic. There is no fixed duty, it varies depending upon circumstances. Time, place and circumstances determine what the duty is. It's not that doing given thing is called duty. Doing the right thing in a given time, place and condition is called duty. What is right, we have to decide ourselves. We make mistake, then we learn from that. Or we can consult somebody who is wiser than us. But it is true that in our life, sometimes conflicts arise. Because there are demands from several. I'm many things at one time. This person is a son also, he is a brother also, he is father also, he is many things. And sometimes the father expects the son to do something, the son expects father to do something, the wife expects husband to do something. And therefore one person may have many people expecting many things from him or her. It's quite possible. Lord Rama, for example, the people wanted that you give up Sita and then his husband, and therefore naturally he should protect his wife and then so on. This kind of conflicts arise. Lakshmana was told by Rama, don't leave Sita. And then that Marich, the demon, he died and he made a in the voice of Rama, Ha Rama, Ha Sita, Ha Lakshmana. So Sita thought that it is Rama calling you, go. My brother has said, don't go. I am telling you, go. No, this is conflict. And these conflicts arise in our life. You can use your judgment in a given situation, do the best that you can do. There are no general rules that no, you should only follow what Rama said or what Sita says. Depends on what the best thing to do in a given situation. He didn't want to do, he didn't want to go. He had a lot of trust in his elder brother. Oh, mother, don't worry, nothing, nobody in the whole 3 worlds can even touch my brother. Oh, and she started saying all kinds of things, and then he had no choice. He had to go. So in duties this conflict do arise because there are sometimes conflicting demands upon the same person from different quarters. Then you make a choice, what should I do?
Doesn't Swadharma come and play then?
Swadharma is your wife also, your mother also, your sister also, your daughter also. So everybody has a dharma, it's called Swadharma. In one situation, if the 4 things are there and then there are 4 conflicting demands are there, then you have to be the best judge to decide. What significance do the five elements have when in the modern day we have the periodic table of elements to explain the makeup of all matter? Good question. So understand that the model of five elements is used by Vedanta for a certain purpose. We have five organs of perception and five corresponding objects and five corresponding elements. We have five organs of action, five corresponding actions, five corresponding elements. So this model of five elements is very useful to us to analyze and understand the life. It's a model and a realistic model because the universe has five elements. Because we have five senses, you follow? So the ears, they experience the sound, that means element space. The skin experiences touch, element air. Eyes experience color, element fire. Tongue experiences taste, element water. Nose experiences smell, element earth. So therefore, in this sense, the model of five elements is very useful to understand our life. So purpose of Vedanta is to explain our life, learn lessons and explain what it is that we have to do. In that sense, the model of five elements is very, very useful. Then scientists have a different purpose. The periodic table, etc., has a different purpose to serve. Vedanta wants us to explain life and how to live. Science doesn't explain life and how to live. Science wants to explain the truth of matter. You do what you want to do with it. And so science doesn't tell you how to live life. It tells you what the things are, what the world is. And then you can use it the way. Usually it is used by man to make it, to extract some benefit out of the nature. That's all he does. Vedanta is meant to help us understand life, live the life, grow in maturity and become free. That is why these models are very useful in keeping with the personality that we have. You mentioned that the subtle body separates from the gross body at the time of death. Does the causal body exist separately? The causal body is in the mind, meaning the ignorance is in the mind. There is no separate causal body, but we call it separate because it's a cause and ignorance and can be removed by knowledge. In that sense, it is called a causal body. The body means shariram, sthula shariram, sukshma shariram, karana shariram. So sthula shariram is the shariram in the primary sense, body. Sukshma shariram also is an away shariram because it is a body within this. Karana shariram is not shariram. There is no body. But shiryamanatva, that is the derivative meaning. That karana sharira means ignorance which also can be dispelled by knowledge. So that which is available for destruction is called shariram. So there the word sharira is used in a derivative sense. Shiryamanatva shariram. There's a separate body. Ignorance is in the mind. So that also goes along. When we go take next birth, this all comes with us. The avidya, kama, karma, ignorance, desires, action, phala, all of that follows us. It's all stored in the mind or in the subtle body. What changes the soul undergoes after death until the next birth? Soul doesn't undergo any changes as such, But there are different descriptions, by the way, of the journey of a Jivatma after death. But if you follow the description of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, then the Upanishad says that even as a Jivatma is now ready to depart from this body, his place is in the heart. In heart there are various openings. Depending upon his karma, he will depart through that respective opening. Greater the karma, upper is the opening. Lower the karma, lower is the opening. Upper opening, better embodiments. Lower opening, lower embodiments. So thus, Upanishad says, Brihadaranyaka, that at the time of departure from here, the Jivatma is in the heart and he departs from a given opening depending upon his karma. At that time, when he is departing, there is a light as though when he knows what his next birth is going to be. And therefore, the Jivatma departs from here with the awareness of what the next embodiment is going to be and accordingly goes. In Puranas, all kinds of descriptions, he keeps it rotating, revolving around 15 days and so on. So many descriptions are there. But the Upanishad has this description. Puranas say that, in 10 days these 10 parts are born. All kinds of things are there, Garuda Purana, this Purana, that Purana. But the Upanishad says this. The Jivatma departs from here with the knowledge of where he has to go, and that's why his karma takes, Udanavayu takes him there. So that's the simple explanation. Then what a change the soul undergoes after death? No change. Same entity goes there into another embodiment. What state, where does it exist? In a subtle body, therefore it's not, you can't experience it. But a subtle body also departs with a sort of an envelope of subtle 5 elements, and then depending upon which loka he has to go, those elements assume different embodiments. Don't bother about that anyway. I won't worry about what happens after death between you and me. Who cares? हिंदी में कहते हैं आप मुआ पीछे डूब गई दुनिया. So I never think of what after death and stuff like that. We are living here to live life, that's all.
मुझे क्या लेना देना स्वामी? मुझे क्या लेना देना?
ये तो हिंदी का फिल्म सॉन्ग हुआ. If you focus on the space, we can see the space pervades the part. But if you focus on the part, the illusion of part, that the part space is created. That's what we said in the class. How does one focus or objectify space that is attributeless? So how do you arrive at the idea of part space? In some way you must be seeing the space, is it not? Part space. So in part space now go to space and then you see that the part is pervaded by space. It's not objectification, space is a concept. So when you say part space also, this part space is a concept in your mind. So similarly part space is a concept, space also is a concept. That the part is within the space and not space is within the part. It's the shifting of the Atma also. Focus upon the body, then Atma is inside the body. Focus on I, the consciousness, then everything is within consciousness.
Swamiji, am I saying that, am I focusing
And I am consciousness, not what I am not, what I am. You may in the beginning need the body, etc., to see that you are consciousness, but then once you recognize, there is no need to negate, I am consciousness. Can you please elaborate on causal body a little more? How is it the cause? So we talked about causal in this session also. Ignorance. Some examples heard today. Actor acting as a beggar in a play. Why is there a play in the first place? Because actor has no choice. A stage is already created and he is sent on the stage with a costume. So world is the stage and each one of us is sent here with a costume. So to explain our situation, this example of the actor and the costume. Why are we there in the first place? We are all born with an agenda. Why are we born at all? Because there is an agenda. We are born because an unfulfilled agenda is there, and to fulfill that agenda we are born. Why that agenda? Why is it that agenda at all? Agenda is a basic agenda is there, I want to be free. Why is that so? Because I love freedom. Why? Because that's my nature. And therefore to be free is my agenda. I feel I am bound, I am struggling. So we can see what we do constantly is struggling to become free. With whatever I feel I am bound. I am bound by this chair, I want to get up from there. Bound by cold, I want to get free from that. Bound by heat, whatever I feel limits me, binds me, I want to become free. Basically, freedom is my nature and therefore I desire freedom. However I define as a different thing. I may define freedom which may turn out to be bondage, that's a different matter. Which is what is happening. I may think that money is the freedom, that may be different whether it is freedom or not. This fellow thought marriage is a freedom, whether it's or he thinks that divorce, it depends, but whether it turns out to freedom or bondage, that the only effect will tell us. But what we do at any time is with an desire to be free. Whether it turns out that we are not is a different thing. But, we can do the best that we can do. So why are we born at all? Because there is an agenda. What is the agenda? Freedom. Why? Because freedom is my nature and therefore there is natural love or freedom. And that's what all the time motivates me to do something so that I become free. And therefore whatever I do in my life is with a desire to be free. Except that if I do not know what freedom is, what I do to become free makes me more bound. That's a different thing. Like a silkworm that creates a shell around itself to get protection and becomes bound. In the process it becomes bound. So human being also creates all kinds of shells around him as defense mechanisms. And then he finds that that's what ultimately binds him. So, since we want freedom, that's a very genuine need. What freedom is depends upon our understanding, and most of us understand it wrongly. Therefore, what we do is for freedom. But we find that, it's one bondage is only replaced by another bondage. He was free before he was married. Then he got married. So now there is somebody to feed, you poor fellow, a problem with cooking and this, that and so forth. Now all that problem is gone. But now he has to go and earn money, to support. For that he takes a job. For that he has to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning and travel 2 hours in the morning. For that he must go to sleep at 9 o'clock, so he can't watch late night movie. So one thing, affects the other thing affects the third thing, so there is no such thing as a perfect situation. So I'm complete, all the questions are answered.
Based on the same question, I had a quick comment. Why did Brahman desire to become many so that he created so many of us? When they are not supposed to be desireless and no vasanas, then why did he desire to become many?
There is no answer to the question why. Science always answers what. Why does an apple fall down? Because of gravity. Why gravity? What is answered by science? Not why. Vedanta answers what? Not why. There is no answer to the question why. I don't know, you can say. Narayana, Hari Narayana, Narayana, Hari Narayana, Nanda Govinda Ananda Narayana, Nanda Govinda Ananda Narayana, Narayana, Hari Narayana, Nanda Govinda Ananda 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 Narayana, Narayana, Hari Narayana, Narayana, Hari Narayana, Nanda Govinda Ananda Narayana, Nanda Govinda Ananda Narayana. 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 Nanda Govinda Ananda Govinda Ananda Govinda Ananda Narayana. Nanda Govinda Ananda Narayana. Nanda Govinda Ananda Narayana. Nanda Govinda Ananda Narayana. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayah. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhaved. Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.